We should be live. Just gonna give it a little bit of time before people come in. And let's see if I can pull up the chat. Good morning, boys and girl. There it is. Let's have a pop out chat. Ah. Ooh, wrong title. My bad. Hey guys. I see you started to tune in. I just have a wrong title on this stream. It's gonna take a second before I fix it. YouTube's giving me a hard time. As always. I'm doing well. It's a clear Saturday morning. We experienced a tornado here last night, so well, it's kind of a good mood. I like tornadoes. So let's see. Live streaming. Help me get to 60 subscribers. I'm sorry, man. You have to spread your word. Okay, here it is. So, title for this stream: Shadergraph is awesome, all in caps. So if you haven't figured out already, we are going to be playing around with the Shadergraph. Shadergraph is something I just started using yesterday, but the possibilities are endless. Well, they're not endless, but it's a new way of making shader that's gonna remove all the friction that we had. I know we tried making shader on the channel, and we succeed making shader. I'm not saying we tried and we fell. We succeed making shaders, however, it required a lot of effort and a lot of computing power. Like, not everybody is able to make shader. Even though you know how to code, coding shader is a whole new thing. And it's really math intensive. So, quickly guys, I'm seeing a couple people that tune in. Hello world. Let me know exactly where you are from, just so we have a little bit of an idea where people are from in the chat and what's the time zone like. I am from Quebec, Canada, so it is currently 9 in the morning. I'm having my coffee, morning coffee. Hey Bam Bam, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. I hope so. I hope it's gonna be great. I'm testing things out. I'm figuring things out as we go, but I mean, it's node based, right? So everything's already kind of figured out. You just have to play around and make some awesome effects. Now it's all a matter of integrating it in my old project. This is of course the movement state machine that we started creating for the Overwatch. And it's I mean, everything's fine. I had to put the third person camera, and the third person camera isn't really tweaked properly. So we're gonna have to go and fix that first, which shouldn't be such a big deal actually. 9 a.m. and coffee here too. That's cool. Game Over says Shader Forge is now free. It is free. However, it's not compatible with Unity 2018. Well, not with the new rendering pipeline, but yeah, the dude made it open source, so we can have a look at the code. However, I'm enjoying this one a lot more. India, 3 p.m. currently. India, 6:30. Hey, Papa. Oh, Papa Glasso's here, and he's from Tatooine. Tashar asks, how many scenes can we add for a story mission in open world game? Well, if you're in an open world game, technically you would only need one scene, and you can do dynamic loading. You can have multiple scenes, but you're gonna have to load and unload your data dynamically depending on where your player is. Of course, you can't have the whole world being loaded at all times. You're gonna have to split that in small zones that you'll load over time. There is a version on Unity 3D Reddit which works for 2018 with Shaderforge. That sounds cool, but why would people use that when they can use Shadergraph? Romania, Croatia. We're still dealing with Croatia here at work. We're trying to hire people from Croatia, so that's fairly cool. I can relate a little bit. Alright, let's quickly fix this thing so we can get into the Shadergraph. What I have is a third-person camera, and I just want to make it less sensitive, really. That's all I really have to do. What if I put that on 1? Tasha asked how to add these dynamic scene. You're gonna have to look. I'm not gonna be the one that tells you. Actually, I could be the one that tells you. If you have a look quickly over on my channel, Scene Manager. You can have a look at scene management if you want. So this video right here, type in a 3K scene, and it's the one with the doggo butt. There's like a dog, and you can see his butt. Okay, good. Alright, last thing I need to do is take this ring and put it a little bit higher, and we will be good to go. So top ring. I forgot how to move this up. Let's see. Ukraine. What game are we creating? We're just messing around with the shader today. Let's see. I'm having a little bit of issue already. I forgot how to use the machine. Huh. So I'll actually just leave that one here. That's going to be good enough for now. We are going to use a Cine Machine on top, so I can just move around in the 3D space. We did not need to do that, but I wanted to have this so I can try some world position shader, so I can actually move in the world position. So I wanted to try that, and here we are. So we have our player moving around in 3D space. So I've already went under Window, I went under Package Manager, and I was looking for the render pipeline lights. So here they are. Now I just gotta make sure I can actually use them. So I need some settings basically. Hey Bart is back without sound. So I'm gonna give myself a new folder, call this one shader, and we will start experimenting, creating a new PBR shader again. And we could start just with a test. Let's have a test, have a look at the different nodes, and we'll see what we can do with that. Okay, so here it is, right? Currently, I don't think we're on the right settings, as it might sound obvious, but the ping thing means it doesn't work. So we're gonna have to change our settings here, and I'm quickly going to boot at the same time another Unity project that do have these settings, so we can look at what is the difference. Okay, so Egypt, nice. What do you think of the current mobile market? What do you think of the current mobile market? Is that what you meant? Probably, yeah. Is it way too flooded? Yes, it is way too flooded. It kind of sucks that it's that way. iOS is a little bit better, but at the same time, only the best is going to stand out. So yeah, it's gonna be really hard to pierce that, and most likely the people that are going to pierce are gonna be really original game, like big studios with original game, or people that piggyback off those games, say another Clash of Clans or another whatever you want to call it, right? Another successful game as a clone, and those people are going to piggyback off the marketing of the previous guys, which sucks, but you know, what can we do? I don't know where to feel on that. Like, I really honestly don't know what to feel about this. Making a good game versus making profit. Of course, people are in the game to make profit, especially in the mobile market, because it's a lot more profitable than standalone market. So having a look at this, I want to know what exactly is the difference in between a lightweight rendering pipeline and a standard one. So that's what I'm using right here, these settings. And these settings are here to overshadow the previous settings. So if I turn them down or if I delete them, my shader is not supposed to work anymore. Having that said, let's take this floor and try to put the test on it. Okay, so it's still that color. Right. I'm gonna have to find out where the settings are so I can enable that rendering pipeline. They might be under quality and they also might be under graphics. Okay, so built-in shader over here. Perfect. And the lightweight rendering pipeline use forward lighting, therefore I might need to do that here too. I'm Dora, by the way, not the other Bart. Oh, alright, man. A Unity 3 teacher, it's been a while. Yes, it's been a while. I remember you. I think we banned you at one point. I'm sorry about that. What about recreating catch-up games? It is interesting, but what's the point? I mean, it's kind of boring. But it's really good for views. I'm not going to lie. It's actually where most of you guys came in from, looking at the stack tutorial. How can we add sounds, menu settings, gun control, punch controls, and vehicle controls for Android mobile game? Please make video tutorial. Parts for beginner. Well, Tashar, you pretty much... You didn't answer yourself, but... If you want to add all these things, you can add all these things by themselves, that's going to be easy, but if you want to mix them all together in an Android game, the parts for beginner thing is wrong, so that's not going to happen. You can't have that for beginners. Please do multiplayer FPS like Bullet Force. We're on multiplayer. We are. Yeah. Kaiser says, are tile map broken in 2018.1? Not that I know of. I mean, it's already been broken as it is, like in the regular version. But I don't see anything worse in 2018.1. It's already kind of bad in the regular version in 2017. Here's one of my projects over here using 2018.1, and the tile map is still fine, but there is many things that you can do to mess up a tile map. If you override tiles using the tile map editor, you're going to mess everything up and you have to start over again. So I'm really sorry to tell you that no, it's not broken. More, it already was broken before. What shader effect do you like the most? You know what, I don't know yet. We're gonna have to find out today. So let me fix this real quick so I can show you and find out. I just want to be really creative with that. Can I download this without V 2018? Unfortunately not. You can't do that. You need to assign a lightweight render pipeline asset to use the shader graph. Thank you, Cedric. I'll have to do that. I'll have to do that. I don't know how, but I'll find out. Okay, to use. So you have to assign lightweight render pipeline asset to use the shader graph. Okay. So I'm wondering where exactly to do that, so I'll go and look through the project settings. Oh, I think here it is, right? That has to be it. So I'm gonna put that on this side. Oops. Render pipeline asset. I'm going to copy this one over. I don't actually want to have something else. So I'm in my other project, going to drag this in here. Here we go. And now back on. Hey, we can actually upgrade all project materials to lightweight materials. Let's do that. See what happens. Okay. Well, it's upgraded. I think they're all using the lightweight. Yeah, they're all using lightweight. However, we don't have it in the settings. So let's go under project settings, graphics, and we got our lightweight. Amazing, it works. Why is your PC so fast? Because it's good, I'm telling you. You need to install render pipeline and assign it. Yep, I think we just did that. That's amazing. Thank you guys for the tips, by the way. Are those Yoshi Island sprites? No, they're not. They're a sprite we've made here. Actually, Yume made them. However, they have been influenced by Yoshi Island quite a lot. But those are... They all have been made by Yume, so she learned how to do this kind of art, and she applied it. And to be honest, I think this game could look and could feel a lot better without a endless running to it. Maybe we could just create a platformer, who knows. How did I get those settings in the first place then? What I've done to get those settings is I've actually, when you boot Unity, right, you can download the preview that they have for the lightweight render settings. So you can go under new, create one with a lightweight RP preview, and that's gonna give you a settings folder. It's gonna give you a whole scene with a lot of stuff, but just keep the settings, and the settings are gonna, you know, be right here. You can just copy that over to your new project, which is what I've done. Let's see. Seeing the last video, I feel like Blender tutorial would work here too. Same node and everything. I have not used Blender nodes. Okay. So we got our project ready. Let's start booting a little bit of scripting. So I'm gonna start with my floor, right? We're just gonna play around with the floor a bit. Double click on this thing. And here it is. I'm going to start giving it some property. Start with a diffuse texture. Why not? Boom, put it here. Or you know what? I'm actually using a checkers in this case, right? So my texture over here, if we have a look, that's a blue checker, like so. Unity has some sample texture we can use already. So what about checker? Aha. And you can also play around with the frequency of this thing. So I technically don't even have to use my checkers anymore. I can just create them right on the fly, which will give me something like this. Now obviously you might want to have the frequency of this, so 10 and 10. Hey hey. Should I learn C# along with Unity? Tell me. Yes, yes, you should. Actually, you know what? Learn Unity first. Learn Unity first. Pick a game that you want to do, and just do small script. Like, you know, if your game requires you to go in a certain area and then something happens, start with that and just like pick up one script and put it a very small thing, and copy and paste the whole thing. Like you. Actually, no, never mind that. Don't copy and paste. Write it down by looking at someone else doing it. And by the time you do that over and over again for every single small part of your game, you'll start picking up a little bit of patterns, and I think that's where you'll be most apt to learn C# when you actually need it to implement something in your game and you can see a direct result. Man, you incredible. I see Brackies and other people, but I feel like you are on normal in a video. Yeah, I'm a human being. Bracky's a human being. Everybody's human being. However, I decided to show it more, I guess. You can also use the package manager to install the render pipeline core. That is correct. With Unity 2018, we have this nice package manager. It feels like Visual Studio a little bit more with the Nugget packages. So that's amazing. By the way, I have not even touched Text Mesh Pro. I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but it sounds like the tool that everybody uses. Okay, so maybe add some color property to give it a color. Of course. I'm actually getting excited by the question, but right. So we have our checkerboard. Let's give it a little bit of color, right? We can multiply that with a color. We could do a blue like it was before. So let's multiply our checkerboard with this. Now we have a blue checkerboard. All right. And just like we've done yesterday, I mean, we don't need Fresnel. We don't need Fresnel. I don't know how to pronounce that. Somebody did point it out. but I don't think we need the emission on this thing. However, I feel like trying and giving it something for the emission. I want to see what this does. Again, this is a really curious stream, and this is most likely me just doing curious stuff. That's amazing. Can we expect the ECS in C# job system tutorial? I don't think so, unfortunately. I don't have... I would love, and I need to learn the job system. However, in terms of speed, I'm not going to be the one that does it first. I think Bracky's going to do it first. Taria is going to do it first. Other people are going to do it first. I'm unfortunately working on other projects that need to be completed first, like a multiplayer game. And those are really my priority. And however, like, I already have a big code base for multiplayer things, so I can't start rewriting the whole thing in job, even though it would be a lot more optimal, I think. So, not at the moment. Sorry, I can't. Will this be recorded on YouTube? Yes, it should be. Please, can you make a video on how to use Android notification? You don't touch this topic before. You mean push notification, or... Oh, we can do replace color, that's cool. What if we replace the color of this thing? We can replace the black and actually put it into a white. It's the weirdest thing. What's a fuzziness setting? Oh, okay, I guess it's some kind of range. But now you adjusted the shader to your own project. How do you make it procedural for different shapes? What do you mean? I'm a little bit confused by what you're saying. I'm going to add something like I remember doing a tutorial on a shader that I was using the player's position. I want to do the same over here, so let's call that player position. And now, in terms of, did not really want to do emission in this case. I'd like the shader to have a different color when I'm on top of it. Hello. Recently, I was looking for viz on a new visual shader. Yeah, man. We gotta figure this thing out. This thing is powerful. It's as powerful as before. Like, it's still shaders, but I feel like it's gonna be much easier to do and much easier to explain here. Now, what I'd like to do, like I mentioned, is to have a different type of texture added on top of that once. Okay, so that could do it, right? So what if we do maybe not a Fresnel, I want to do something else. Maybe like a dot or a shape. A shape could do it. A polygon. Hey, that's actually quite cool. Didn't know I could do that. Right. Can we multiply these together? Of course we can. What kind of question was that? Alright, so that's kind of cool. Oh, Bart, yeah, so well, now I changed the tiling for this object, that is correct, but that's because my UV on this one was a single, like, it depends, it should be different UV on the mesh itself and not me adjusting it like that. Like, this should always be the settings for the shader, and this one would scale up the UV even more, so it's just a matter of the UV not being right in this case. That's on the object. Okay, so I want to multiply this at very specific area, so I'm going to try and figure out how to do that here. So player position, could I feed that right in here? I feel like I maybe could. Player's position is going to have to be modified using, of course, the player's position. So I'll create a small script for that right away. Oops. Can you choose the center of that shape? Oh, it's really, like I said, it's a matter of UVs in that case. And I think this one is a shape that I've made personally on 3ds Max. I'll tell you in a second. Oh no, this one is a Unity shape. So the whole thing is one in UV. However, as you can see, it has many little squares. It could be, I don't know why it's not like that, but like it should be one square like that. It would be one set of UVs, but that's not how it is. Okay. Can I make a decal with that shape stuff? Yeah, we could. I'm actually using a decal in the game itself as we play. I can show you. So here, we already have a decal. We could add it on top of that with a multiply maybe. Now, where's my player at? Here it is. It has a lot of script, right? Might not be the best way to go about doing these things, but hey, let's add share position with shaders. That's a long name. You mean, okay, so I don't really understand what you just meant there, Dora. And the shader graph itself, can you make a decal system with that shape stuff? I don't know. Meanwhile, let's have a reference to that shader. Let's see, this is going to be a floor shader. I don't know. Oh, actually, let's do a list of shader instead. Private void update, and in a single update, I'll do for each shader. Oops. For each shader S in shader S set property or property. Let's see. Am I supposed to do materials? Am I supposed to do shader? Okay, so I believe we need to set materials and not shaders. My bad on this. Set vector, and it's a vector 4 value. In this case we don't need that, so we'll do player position with transform.position. That's all we need, I believe, and that's going to be cast as our vector. Is C# scripting required to add mobile touch input controls, or requires any control menu tools for Unity? I think you're really you're gonna need to learn a little bit more of coding, my friend, before you want to tackle the kind of project you want to tackle. You're basically saying that you want to make a GTA for mobile. You're gonna need to code, and I would not start with a GTA for mobile. I would start with something way easier. As far as the input goes, if you want to start with that, yes, we have a video on the channel called, I don't remember. Here it is, virtual joystick. So check this one out. So Unity 5 virtual joystick. It's from 2015, but it still does the job. Let's see. Okay, so wait, I will say it again. So you have the shader graph with shape node. that can be in the shape of a decal with a custom texture. You can deploy that on your shader right, and can you change the center to the place you want it to decal? Yeah, right. That's what I'm gonna try and do using my player's position. So I'd like the decal to be always where my player is in world position, so I always have like a spotlight on him. Do you speak French? Oui, je parle français toute la journée. D'habitude. You can add mobile controls from standard assets. Yep, there is also that, you're right. Since the tile is procedural, can the square tile be made to the pentagon shape you just had? I think we're gonna have to figure out, boys. Let's figure it out. I'm gonna start by feeding the position of my player to the shaders first. I think we're still gonna have to instantiate though. I might be wrong. I'm not the best. Okay. So now I have to feed my material, the blue material. I'll feed that directly in the script I've made. Like so. And I want to have a look at the player position while we're playing, see if it actually changes. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's changing right now. That's kind of annoying. Did I call it right? And is this one even updating? So saving the vector player position in transform the position. What is my transform position? There it is. Now why is this one not being modified? Player position. Let's have a look at our shader graph. Player position is a vector 3. I don't think they really want to have a vector 4, but in case, let's create one. And make sure we rename that. Okay. No, it's not because my player is in the air. You should actually just feed that information, including the fact that he's in the air. So let's see, I've saved. Yep, player position is now a vector 4. Gonna move this one. And scene. Okay, so we're gonna have to do a quick Google search. Use underscore player position. Let's see, render lightweight render pipeline. Send data to shader. That ain't cool. For the time being, what I'm going to do so we can have a little bit of thing to look at is I'm going to create one manually. So I'll just move the position manually over here. And we're going to see if that works. So, we have player position, which should be something like 5 in Y. Now, how do we make sure it's actually at a different place? So, can I multiply that again? I think multiply is going to be the answer to a lot of things. No, okay, oh, actually that's funny. Depending on the player position, we are going to have different colors. That's cool. That could be actually quite nice. Oh, sorry. Wait, I want to try this out. That actually looks quite fun. If I could hook this one up like properly, we could always say I remove those shape. The color is not something I want to feed it. But depending on, oh crap, what have I done? Depending on the player position, we can multiply for different colors. Oh, that is assuming we only had one color here, only one channel. Still, there has to be a way to do it. Alright, let's see what kind of input we can give it. We can give it a position. What kind of position can we give it? So the world, okay. That's kind of what I wanted, but I want to have it from the player though. Okay, so that one's not gonna work. Let's think about it logically. I want to put my decal on top of this thing, but like in the world position manner using my player's position, so I'm gonna need position, that's for sure. This one is the world, okay. That's not it. You guys have an idea on how to make this work? Let's see, je ne parle pas français? Moi oui. Please do a tutorial for mobile multiplayer game. I'm sorry, it's a little bit too complex. You also don't have texture attached. That is right. Did you put the texture back and as you took it away for immunity styles? Well, the texture is there, it's in the pipeline. Actually, we don't have a diffuse. We're not using a diffuse. We're using a checkerboard instead. So we don't have a texture, we're actually starting from here. Is there a mix node? There has to be one. I suggest make it a vector 3 again. We could, so we don't mess around with alpha, that would be a good position. Or we could just put that one on 1, so we know we always have alpha. But we could go ahead and make that vector 3. The only reason I made it a vector 4 is because of this function called setVector. It didn't seem to take a vector 3 in parameters, so it said vector 4, but I think we can actually forget about that one. So set vector array, okay, we don't want that. Let's see. We're going to rename that to player position like you mentioned. And this one's gonna go back to being a vector 3. Underscore player position. Is there a mix node? Yeah, well, the mix mode in my head, maybe I'm wrong there, but the mix mode is would be the multiply. That's where you would mix them together. I'd like to have an output that is more than just one here. I'd like to have an output that goes right, say, into a texture. What about that? Okay, so that doesn't give me a texture at the moment. Can I? No. I can only output UVs. Not cool. Okay, so Farden says keep the v4, the vector 4 name player position instead of Shadergraph, but when you call it, use the underscore in front of it. We'll give it a try. We'll give that a try. So here I'm calling it with underscore player position. And let's see. Oops. I don't like having my game scene over here. I'll put that somewhere else. I guess I'm gonna put that here, okay. So I'm moving my player right now. My player position isn't changing. And it's not giving me any error, that's my issue. It's giving me some warning for my animation, but nothing for what I'm actually trying to achieve. Okay. We're gonna have a look at what we have over here. So we have a set, couple of things, set buffer, set vector array. I'm not down for that. Papa Glasso is here. So unexpected simple, yep, set vector. That's a good option. That's a good option. Try opening the file in Visual Studio. So let's go see that. So we have the test file. I want to compile and show the code. Property player position just like this, so no underscore in that case. I like the underscore. I'm gonna put the underscore back inside of the graph. Like so. Okay, so we have the replace color, that's fine. Now, what I like to do is before we go inside of master node, I'd like to take all of this and create a hole through it. So the hole would be the shape we had. So here, that's kind of what I wanted. But I have to move this UV around, and I just realized that's not really what I want. What I want is I want to keep the normal texture set, but then what I'll do is I'll feed this to the alpha instead. The alpha clip threshold. So if I do a save and have a look on the project now, I'd love to see it having transparency on the first go. That'd be great. Okay, it doesn't look like it has one right now. What if we go and we just play around? Oops. I'm getting lost with this. I need to have more window. More space without really docking stuff around. What if my alpha test is lower than that? Can I start seeing some alpha now? Okay, we have it. It's just the other way around, right? Yeah, okay. So that means when I have a look at my texture, the black part is being rendered and the non-black part is not. So can we flip this? Invert. Invert color, okay. We might be going a little bit further than we need to, but Saving the assets, and what do we have now? Okay, so we have that's a really weird way to see things. But yeah. We definitely have some channels mixed up in there, like the blue one, of course, not desired. We could actually go through a step function. Or not even feed this thing, we could just do that, actually. Do we need to multiply? We don't need to multiply, okay. So having this done, feed that to the alpha, like so. And now there's only color in the center. What I want to do at this point... Oh, use -1 to invert. That could have done it, you're right. It's still a vector forward, my inspector. You're right. What I want to do at this point is just make this style move beneath me with the player. So I want to move the player's position over here, and I want to have this moving as well. I'll be right back quickly though. Just go for a drink, and I'll be back in like 1 minute. Hello bro, you are cool, thank you. I will take this free compliment. I'm drinking from a Canadian cup. Glass. And it's dirty. But hey, doesn't matter. Let's see. Pick up glass and drinks from it. So maybe move the player away from the center to prevent confusion at some point. Yeah, since we're not mapping, like this mapping doesn't work, so the mapping with the vector 3 doesn't work, this one right here. I'm actually just going to change it here, and it doesn't matter, like we don't have to think about the player just yet, we just have to think that the vector is going to be at 5. So 5 in Z is about, that's not far enough. Yeah, 15, we're going to do 15. So around here is where I want to have the center of this thing. I found, you're live. Oh, my live stream. Okay, nice. I got confused there for a second. Let's see. So back on my blue, it's gonna be 15. At first, I was alcohol. I mean, it's 10 in the morning, but we're known from starting early here, so it could have been. Okay. Right. So how do I move this around? How do I move this around? I feel like I'm gonna have to cancel this one out, right? The link is gonna be shut. I will need position. So, input, position, that's for sure. And that position is gonna be the world position of my object. of my floor. So we have that. Now on top of that, we also have my player's position. How do we make them work together to create the perfect alpha? I'm gonna try and plug that thing in like a couple of different places. I don't know why. We'll give it a try. I need to figure things out. So my player's position is over here at 15. I'm gonna make sure it's also like that here, 15. We'll turn that into a quad so we can see what's going on. By the way, put that back on 0. I don't want no smoothness on this thing. Maybe multiply? Yeah, okay, so I'm trying to figure this thing out because we have the world position of this object. That's going to be 0, 0, 0. It's at the center of the world. And then we have the player position, which is at 15. At one point, this polygon is going to have to come in. So if I just go off a tangent and try to improvise, right? We could say we need to multiply this thing. Which one is the out? So this one is the out. So I want to multiply this with the player's position. This only gives it a color. So what I would need to modify is actually the UV, so I would have to modify that instead. Which obviously gives it a not satisfying result. What if it's that one? Okay, so we're getting somewhere. So position is going to come in here to move the polygon places. So back in the shader graph for a second, I'm going to hook this in the clip threshold, and we'll have a play in the scene, see how it works. So it doesn't seem to show up anywhere, maybe under that cube, like in the center. I'm gonna hide this one for a second. That's my floor. And if you check in the preview, like there is something in the preview, we just really can't see it now. Anywhere I go, oh, did I see some? No, that was a gizmo. Crap. Please collaborate with Brackeys. I don't feel like it. And he doesn't feel like it either, I can promise. It is because multiply is with a color. You're correct, we can change that. Multiply is going to adapt, right? So we can definitely change that, and let's see. But this should give me like a clip threshold. So the white is... The white means it's shown, I think. No, white means it's not shown. Let's go back. I stopped the invert for a second. Now, if I change that to object space, that's not gonna work either. That's kind of stupid, actually. I don't want to have object space. I want to do everything in the world space. So 3's feeding to my UV. That's okay. We gotta find a way to multiply these things. Okay. Maybe not multiply them, so how should we go about that? The position of the player minus the position of the world, which is gonna give us 15 minus 0. Okay, that ain't gonna change anything. Subtract. So this, subtract this one, and we feed it here. No need to multiply. I don't know why I have a multiply in here. There we go, boys. We did it. We have done it. For a second, then I screwed it up. So if I modify my Z at the moment, just go down there. That's my position, default. 5. So obviously the Z is not going to be useful. The Z is not useful simply because it doesn't have its place in the UV space, right? So if we do 0.5, 0.5, I'm getting some weird results. I'd like to be able to preview them. We had something earlier. I screwed it up. So UV space, it's always in the 0 and 1, right? Is Shadergraph out? Yes, Shadergraph is out. So, PPH said, is Shadergraph out? Yes, it is. Stig says, what is Shadergraph? Animating material? Well, it's not about animating material, it's about creating shaders, and Shader could technically animate some materials. They do two things. One, they might change the position of your vertex, so they might do a little bit of vertex displacement. They can create the waves in the game, the water in games. They can create like a bunch of cool effects, but they also decide how the color is being put on the object itself. So the whole lighting of your scene is calculated through shaders. And we're trying to just do cool effects here. Let's see. So I'm gonna go back, have a look, right? See if we modify our position, if it's gonna do something. I'm resetting this one back to 0, 0, 0, and then screw the player position. I want to play around with that. Okay, so I get nothing out of that, which kind of sucks. Huh. My substracts give me a bunch of funny colors. I wish it would be like only texture 2 in this case. Like if I could carry like only a vector 2, I wouldn't get the sphere. I'd be able to see what's going on. However, we're carrying 3 in this case. Can I convert that into vector 2? I will. I'll do that. So put the vector 2 in here. I'm gonna output in 2. And same thing for the world position. I know my graph is getting messy, but we're really just trying to figure things out. I hope this maps properly. So we should keep only the X and the Y. I wish I could keep the Z. That's going to be another problem in the future. And once we have that, now I'm going to start playing around with the player's position. Maybe 1 in X, okay, so that gives this kind of result. That's odd. 0.5 is in the center. And we only keep this. Do that, and in your code, make the X be Z. Yep, we could go ahead and do that. Hey, look! We have something. There we go, we have a little line over here, and I can move it around. Yeah, get things working first, then you can polish. Well, see, that's almost working. Ugh, I'm out of coffee. It's a good thing. Which means I can understand better now how life works. So I put a 5 meter on this thing, see if it actually does anything. What if I do 5, 5? Save asset. I just want to see the result of this thing. Okay, sure. Can put that back into the invert. Don't need to multiply. Alright. So kinda have something. Okay, now I wanna, before we go any further, I'd like to test this in the game. Like I really wanna test this in the game all the time. The origin is somewhere else. It is not linear. You correct? You were correct. Let's give this like a little bit of thinking, right? This value on the right hand side, the player's position. I want to set it. I'm kind of tired that it's not set, so we're going to go back in our code for the player shaders. Let's see, and make sure we start sharing that position. Thanks, Bart. You're helping me out quite a lot, actually. Not compatible with OpenGL. Everything's gonna get compatible with time, they mention. Oh, for mobile? I don't think Shadergraph is up to date with, well, it is up to date with mobile, but I don't think that every single node inside of Shadergraph is, so you'll have to wait a little bit for that. So it's updating blue. Blue's the right shader. Okay, that's fine. It is being updated. The properties being set. I wish we could use something else than set vector. Is that like a property we can use? Let's check if it has a property first. I want to see this one. I don't like using debug.logs, but we're at that point. Android 4.4, so Yusuf asked, is it compatible with Open GLS 2.0? I honestly I could not answer. I don't know that question, but just taking the number of the Android, right? So just Android 4.4, it's so far ago, it's so long ago that I'm pretty sure it should be, at least. Well, actually, no, it should not be. Never mind that. Android 4.4 is too old. You probably should use a shared mat. Yep, I should. But let's just get this thing working first, right? It thinks there's no player position property. I'd like to be able to list the property, see what's the name of it. Can I get that? The whole set is here. It can't find the property. If I go under shader, I can't find it either. So the material is the one responsible for holding these. So shader graph material property. Maybe it's because it's an asset? Well, technically it's a shader, right? And it's not a shared material. What do you mean by a shared material? Let's go here. That's my set. The shader editor is here. Okay. Compile and show code. Yeah. Now back to the code. Property player position stays here. Underscore player position has some default value. Why? Did I do that? I probably did. And it's not being used anywhere for some reason, which, by the way, it is. I don't know why they don't have that here. Oh wait, no, the name of it is vector. That's my property here. I get it, okay. You have a material, so it's only for that project. You have a material. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. But look, that's the problem right here. The name of my material, the name of my property is actually this awful vector name, which is obviously not something I want to set here. So there has to be a way to change that. But if I go and I do a set vector this time and we use that name I copied over from the compiled shader, transform the position, technically it should work. Yeah, I mean, I want it to be only that material though. Hey look, boys! Boys! It's moving with my dude. So I almost have the effect I want. However, the only problem with this thing is that it's really not good looking in the code. It looks like this, because my compiled shader has this property name. Of course, I believe there's a way to change it. And is there a way to change the test name as well? Huh. Like, that's obviously not something we want to keep. But it's here. It's here for now. We are progressive, boys. Okay. Hey Bart, I'm actually not, I'm not sure what you mean about the whole shared material thing. So it's only that material to change. Yeah, actually no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's only that one material I change, and I don't need more than that. I mean, I understand what you're saying. For optimization purpose, later on you would want everything to be on under the same mat. If, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'll take the easiest example again. So if you want to have like a two-player with different player colors, so one player would be representing the red side, the other player would be representing the blue side, you can't have the same shader, because when you'll modify, say, the color property, it'll change on both. But for this example, like as we figure this thing out, I don't think we need such things. We just need to figure things out. Later on, if we want to have different floors, which we will, in case we have another tile over here, well, that specific case works because we're using world position, but you know, if we're doing something based off the UV in object space, we would need another material. I think that explains my point. I'm not sure. Okay, so back on this thing for a second. Issue over here is the y-axis. Y-axis never really changes that much because my player Y doesn't really move that much, right? It's only up and down. Song name, I'm not sure about the song name. I'm going on my free library. Let me give you a link. Here. Oops, and I closed it. Amazing. That's the song name right here. And I'll just reopen that again. Okay, so we have this moving with the player. So I feed this one thing in. Maybe this needs to be a vector 3. No, this can't be a vector 3. It sucks that I can't take like this property and output like only single channels out of it. Well, technically I think I could. Right. I could make it extremely ugly and go about doing that, so assuming I only want to have, okay, vector 3 like that. I feed it the 3 different settings, X, Y, and Z. I don't want Y, and I don't want Z in that case. Okay, copy that over. Could I do this? I don't know if that's gonna work. But here I only have the X and the Y. And I could merge that into a vector too. Would that work? So it's all a matter of knowing what's inside of this data over here. So is it the Z of my player position or is it the X? I think we'll be able to tell if we play around with the position here and modify. Not that one. That one should do nothing. This is one, okay. What about this one? Okay, no, that doesn't work. It's using X for both. Screw that. Can you go debug mode for your inspector, by the way? You can see private values that way. There you go. Can I still find my things though? Like, where's my save? No. Crap, there is a lot of properties in there that I don't have access to. Let's see, where are my properties? If I'm in debug mode, I just don't see my own things. That's my butter. Well, I could see them. I just like, where are they, right? Player color, no, player position. Metric split node. Metric split node. Are you saying that for funsies? I clearly don't know what I'm doing right now. Okay. Let's step back. We have our player position. What can we do with it? Oh. That's funny. So let's see. What about the metric split node? Identity takes in. I'm at a bit of a loss right now. And Papa Glass keeps saying metric split node. I guess I'm gonna have to find out how to use them. Identity 2x, okay. So how do we play around with this? Do you have an idea, Papa? Didn't you want to use only x and z from your position? Yeah, exactly. However, I don't remember anything from my matrix classes. That's kind of what I want to do. So if we turn that into... No, we don't have to turn that into vector 2. We just have to input it somewhere. So we have our position. That should be a matrix 3 by 3, if I'm correct. Where's my input? Ah. The matrix 3.3 doesn't use any input. You just got here. What's the goal? The goal is actually to turn the floor on when I'm on it. Let's see. I'm gonna show you something. So in our game, we move around, and when we move around, the floor moves with us. Now I broke it, so it doesn't really work anymore. But you see that stripe? That stripe should be moving with the player, and it should be a polygon instead. However, I'm having a little bit of a hard time figuring out a couple of things. If we go back to a subtract real quick, we subtract this well position, win this, out into UV, and save the assets for a second. Alright, so we get this. This is using world position. And the position we're using is the player's position and also the floor position. So my problem is that I'm kind of retarded when it comes to matrices. To feed my input in a split like that would require to have an input that is 2 by 2, which I currently don't have. I'd love to be able to see what number this gives me. There has to be a way to do it. Is there a log in here? Yeah, there is a log. Okay, cool. Do I get to have a log? While it's running, I don't. Is there just a split? Good idea. There is a split just by itself. So it's a in one, and then you split it in different things. Okay. Okay, so you got us on the right path. Thank you, Papa. So we do have a split. Here it is. Our player position, we split it in RGB. RGB in that case stands for X, Y, Z, and W for a normal vector. It's gonna look awful, but we'll have two split, just like so. And those two split will result into a vector 2. So that's our position X and Y, actually X and Z, and we output that directly in the subtract. There we go. Okay, we got it. Thank you so much, Papa Gasto. You saved us again. I'm always being saved. There we go. I'm blowing in my mic. I happened to do that a couple of times. Let me just... Ugh. Why did you wake up so late? I don't know. I'm trying to wake you up in the morning, but you keep like... Nyeh, you keep resisting. Let's see. So I have my subtract. I can output this directly in my polygon. That's a vector too. I would expect this to be like earlier, so I would expect this to have a nice shape. What if I multiply? First, let's put that there. Just trying out something real quick. Yeah, no, screw that. Okay. So not everything is white here, which is not awesome. Oh boy. Boy, it doesn't work in our preview, but it works in the game because we're using the well position. Amazing. Well, we got that working. Of course, we might want to invert it before we push it, but what if we do it invert colors? We put that in there and we feed that to our alpha. Save assets, and we're good to go. You remember math class? Oh no, I don't. I really don't. I don't math so much. There is a weird offset, you can probably tell, but it's here. And we uncover the tile as we go. There we go. Let me go back and actually put that back in FPS. I feel like well, the controls are kind of messy in third person, but there we go. We move around, we see the floor, and the floor moves with us. Now, obviously, could play around with this a lot more by adding some properties outside that I can modify, such as a vector one for distance. Now, how would I go about adding a distance to this? Quick math. Everything times 0 results to 0. That is right. So if I want my hexagon to start further away, would I have to modify... What do I have to modify exactly? I have to modify something right here. What if I multiply this one with my distance? Okay, so obviously got it wrong. And it's actually being offset. Is it? No, it's not being offset. It was just me. Oh, well, I guess it is being offset a bit. Let's play around with distance. So that's 0 in distance, because everything times 0 is 0. Maths. Okay. So we end up having something like that. However, I'm not modifying the right thing. Hey, Will Hard. Just figuring out a bit of the shader graph this morning, trying to create some very specific effects. So my multiply is not in the right spot. I'm going to scrap it and move it up. Yeah, that one doesn't make any sense either. I'm not playing with the right values. Okay, so this initial subtraction has to stay the same. So let's put back this the way it was. And that modification would have to be done at this area over here, and this is, I think, what I should subtract. Or multiply in this case. Something like magnitude? Well, there's obviously like a small offset that is really not fun to look at. So we have a bigger distance on this one. If we put it back on 1, we'll have the same result as we did earlier. So here it is, right? We'll put that where it was before. If we have a look up there in the scene view, minus the offset, and that's kind of what we want to have, and then we can play with the distance to have a bigger shape. Can you try multiplying with -1? It's mirrored. How do you think it's mirrored? Well, we do an invert over here. And when my player is at 0, 0, 0 like it is, we still have that offset. Is my... Yeah, my floor is also at 0, 0, 0, so technically it should not really have this going on. It's like we have the subtract, and the subtract is not really starting at the right point. Whoopsies. Oh, my Shadergraph is broken. I can't drag stuff anywhere now. Yeah, this thing is buggy sometimes, I'm not going to lie. What if I kill it? Reopen the thing. Maybe something like floating points error? That could be it. Let's move that around. Oh, that's odd. We don't see the thing here in this view for some reason, but we see it down in the game view. Is it possible to access? Yes, it is possible. You can do like we've done over here. So we do a set vector. You get the material first, and once you have that material, you can do a get. Whatever is the property of that case. So get property or get vector. You'll find a type under that, so just start typing in get, then you'll see them. Right, I feel like it's really odd the fact that I can see it in the game view, but I can't see it in the scene view. Scene view is where I want to see it in this case. Oh, because maybe I'm not close enough, is that it? Yeah, so I'm doing a weird thing with the Fresnel at this moment that is actually using, or Fresnel, whatever you call it, Fresnel, that is using the world space for the view direction. Let's kill that. I had enough of this. Let's kill it. I'll put that back the way it was. Oh, and also, I forgot, we can edit shader in real time. There's something completely, like there's something else. Apparently, and not everything is saved though. The view distance is still in here. Let's save that, save asset. There we go. Okay, so we're back. Something I've always wondered is what this alpha value is for. Like, I know 0 is going to give me what I want, 1 is not going to work at all. If I put that on 1, we won't see anything anymore. But what is it? Is it like a threshold? If I put it on 0.5, I can have half values? I don't know. What about the occlusion too? Transparent surface. Oh, that might be my alpha value actually. Never mind, that's what it is. Which means we can play around with these alpha values. Can I feed it something else than a single value though? What if I try to feed it like a vector 3? Would that work? It gets really confused and it doesn't work. Okay. Now, would we want to feed that transparent? I think so. I think we could do it. Yeah, I'd be down to try that out. And the alpha clip threshold. Oh. Yeah, alpha is the transparency. I kind of know that. The problem is like, how do I use it in this context here? And now I just realized how it worked. It's a single value. Alpha clip threshold. Really doesn't help me that much. Unless I do it this way. I kind of think it's weird that I have to put like a number that's below 1 and then it works. What would be really nice, what I wanted to do here is to actually smooth down the sides of that. Yeah, the vector would only feed the first value, so x value. That's correct. Because this one doesn't want to take anything else but that, I believe. Now, what would be cool is actually keep my floor. I would love to keep my floor everywhere, but when I'm around it, I display the actual good color. So I think that's really doable. If I start taking these... Oops, did I just delete everything? I just did. If I put that like in a different area, say, on top of this, and I have a multiply that will multiply this value and this output, which will result in me having the following. So where's my albedo? There it is. And I will have to revert that again. Save. Okay, so we keep a black color all the time. And now as I walk around, my floor is still there, but I discover the rest of, well, I'll discover the actual texture that's behind it. What if we actually go around and do something else? So at the base, that's my color at the very base. Actually, that's gonna be my default color that you see everywhere. And now I want to have a new color. That new color could be another checkerboard with a different color, basically. That could work. Or it could be something I draw, however, I don't have the means to draw at the moment. So that would be the color you get when you walk on top of something. So let's arrange these nodes in such manner I can go ahead and multiply that, and that will be, say, red. Now let's go ahead and feed. Well, we'll have to do a multiply, I think, here. That's totally wrong, actually. So the goal is I want to completely disregard the black color behind it. And instead of having the black, I would have the checkerboard here, so the blue checkerboard in there. Without merging these colors together. So it's like I want to add texture on top of only the black part. Could I add texture only on the black part? It would be like some kind of replace. And I would replace. Let's feed that in. I want to replace the black by this. Whoa, it actually worked. Okay, I'm retarded. But it worked. Okay, well, I mean, good. Good, I would say. Let's say that. This actually worked. I'm surprised. And happy at the same time, but mostly surprised. There you go, where my player walks, it's now blue. Yeah, what do you have done the texture you want on the black part? Exactly what I've done. Well, I done it a replace, right? But, I mean, kind of gives the result I want. There's some shadow problem, obviously, because I think I'm on the alpha thing. So if I go back to having a non-alpha mode, go back to an opaque mode, I wonder if it's still gonna do that. Nope, it's not. Everything's perfect. Okay, we're getting somewhere, boys. That's cool. Can you upload your final shader? Of course. No big deal, man. Okay, let's do something cool. Can we finally do some vertex displacement? That's what I wanted to do my whole life. I don't know if it's possible to do it right now, but I saw that you can feed it some geometry in the inputs. So geometry, normal vector, okay. That's not what I want. I want to have some actual geometry, right? Yeah, because it sucks to have a stream delay like that. I wish I wouldn't have that much of a delay, but we just figured that thing out. I'd like to have this pulsating here, like the pulsating, having it pulsating, say, width. That could work. Okay, so what we did earlier is multiply that by the property distance, and distance would be the one that decides whether or not it's big or small. So I'm gonna go in the game, see where I should modify things. I'd like to get rid of the offset too, like there's a small offset that's not really cool. So I'm clicking away. Putting that on the side for the moment. And we have our blue shader. It's a perfect name for this kind of thing, by the way. And distance goes like this. Okay, so I don't want to modify distance. I want this to be on top of my player. Let's see, is it there? No, because anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Okay, I get it. 0.1 gives me that type of offset. Not so cool. Going back in the shader. Oh, vertex displacement's not ready yet. I think so either. Like, I remember watching the talk, and the talk said he wanted to do some vertex displacement too, but that didn't work just yet. However, I'm feeling, because this talk was at GDC, so that's like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Maybe they have something now. That'd be great. Okay, so distance, not fun. Assuming I don't want to multiply that by distance. I just want to go straight into it like that. Save my asset. What kind of offset do I have? I still have that offset. That sucks. And I think it really has to do with the width and the height of this thing. So if I do 0.5, 0.5, I should be offset, but only by that small amount. 0. That's actually accurate. Okay, so that's my problem right here. Like, before feeding it in here, I would have to... Gotta go for now, goodbye. Hey, thanks man for helping me out. Would have to subtract this thing. It's a bit ugly, I would say, doing it the way I'm doing it at the moment. So I have an out of 1. You have a scale of 6, maybe that's it. Where's my scale? Oh, the size, no, that's not a scale, that's the amount of sides for the polygon. So if I turn that into a 8, that would be an octagon. The actual shape is. Pentagon's the best, by the way. Finished your glide tutorial 2 days ago and finished the 2D cube platform just now. Was gonna go and do another tutorial, but it seems you're live. Really good tutorial, bro. Learning a lot from you. Hey! Thank you, man. Much appreciated. I also much appreciate the comment you just did. Amazing. So, there is some vertex displacement, said PC Troll Gamer. Let's have a look. So I'm gonna go and take the link you just put. Yeah, so there's vertex displacement, but is it using the shader graph though? Also had a shader graph tutorial which is about a portal shader. Would you like to see? Let's have a look. Oh, it's not on your YouTube. Well, yeah, you can send us a link. If you're not able to send link, come over on Discord. Alright, so we'll go back and we'll add a multiply to this. And by the way, Shadergraph is really messy when you are in the game. So I have to close it all the time. There's still a bit of bugs, like controlling this thing. Totally fine though, we're gonna get around it. But yeah man, I would love to see that, if you can send me a link. Are you using the twirl effect? I feel like everybody that saw the talk is like using twirl everywhere. And we should be too, like that could be nice. What if we add it right there? We feed it inside of twirl before we put that in the output. Okay, it does give it some weird color. Assuming I don't really want to do the UV, I want to do the center instead. Okay, we end up modifying colors too much. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's see. So it outputs some UVs. What if I take this and I twirled over here? My assets are saved. Now I'm going to link that back up. Gives a bit of a twist to our pentagon. Looks cool though. Okay, so where were we? I was changing the size of this thing so we could see it more. Crap. Crap, it looks weird, but also good at the same time. Now, there's a lot of things we can do with this. Like you can see that something has to be done with this effect. What is it we're doing? We're currently just playing around with a small effect beneath my character that changes the color of the texture beneath it. It's hard to tell because this graph is always in the way, but if you have a look on this side, we always have a different color. Well, we have two colors basically when we're walking around. And it's only one shader, so there's like there ain't much else to add on top of that. I'll take up the twirl for now, put that back on the polygon as we had it before. And I will be reintroducing the multiply by color. At the distance, sorry. Like so. And what's my distance? I think 0. No, 1. Okay. Default is 1. So let's see your video. So we go here. So let's see. So you were using the twirl effect. I want to see your nodes. Let's have a look at your nodes. I'm sorry, I can't play sounds. I don't wanna have you strike me after that. Looks like you're using ellipse and a twirl effect. That's actually quite cool. That's your twirl. What's that? What's the name of this one? Oops, I clicked off. A lot of multiplies. And you're using mission, okay. Ellipse. I'm looking for the node on the left. Well, that looks good, man. That actually looks good. Maybe try other shape. We could. Yeah, no, we definitely could. Originally this was 6 by 6. For the Poral effect, if you guys want to do it, link is in the comment section. It looked good. It's really a good set of things to learn from that video. So by multiplying right now, I'm losing all the data I had before, which kind of sucks. I don't remember exactly where I put that. And there's some error over here with this whole subtract mechanic that doesn't give me exactly the position I would like to have. Even when it's well positioned by itself. Actually, see, I put 0, 0, 0 everywhere. What happens? Nothing anymore for that. And what if I move this around? Okay. It's time to figure things out, boys. This offset comes from my polygon over here that has a different center, so yeah, let's go ahead and give it another shape. Procedural shape. We could give it a rounded rectangle. How's that? Thanks, I had a question. Could we manipulate vertex like we do in Shader Lab Code or Shader Forge? That's what we're waiting for. There was no information on that just yet. During the actual tutorial I've looked at, the GDC tutorial, they said that they don't have such solution at the moment, but they are working on it. So I don't know if we can right now, and I'm gonna try and figure that out as we speak. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. So what about vertex here? So we have the vertex color. We do have, like, we don't have any procedural things for vertex displacement. I think we can only play with the pixel shader, the fragment shader. Your environment parent is not at the center. Are you serious? Am I that stupid? Level? No, level is at 0, and the plane beneath that is also at 0. So it's really just like the small offset that we get every time we create like these things. So 0.5 in radius. Well, I can't really change that, right? Oh no, that's around it. Oh, I like that actually. Ooh, let's put that on 3. It's a circle. Amazing. No, it's just an error in my code. We want the long dark on Android. What the hell is the long dark? Also, in my subtract, for some reason, I have this. I still have a subtract. So that doesn't help. Assuming we just feed the world position, which is 0, 0, 0, it goes to show that there's always some sort of very small offset by about 0.5. And I want to know where that 0.5's come from. Is it still 0.5? Yeah, so 0.5 on both axes is where this offset is. And maybe it's later in the code. You see my player position is at 0. Well, we're not using it at the moment, so. It feels like I had to subtract that by another vector too. That one would be 0.5 and 0.5. I'm not a fan of doing that, but that's what I'll do right now. that subtract could have been a add instead, or we can just reverse these values. So that gave me the value I want. Nice is gonna stay the same. Maybe try putting it on different object. That could also be possibilities. I mean, we lost that offset right now, so that's kind of good. But yeah, it's all a matter of that 0.5 and not really knowing where it comes from, but I believe it's really just from the mesh itself. Like the pivot point of the mesh. Or maybe it's the pivot point on my player. I'll be right back again. I drank too much caffeine. Okay. Let's do something that's quite cool. I would like to add more complexity to this one. We have that one shader we did in the past. However, I wonder if we can play around with the edges of it, with the edges of the shape. So where's my shape at? That's my shape. Right here, that's my rounded rectangle. However, like, it sucks the fact that we can't really see it being a rounded rectangle. And what I mean by that is just like we don't have a good preview. We have a circle preview, which doesn't really help me. You don't have a blackboard panel. That's odd. You should have it. It's in there. You just have to find it. Like, no joke, this thing is quite buggy. But it's somewhere in there. And you see I have issues. I can't even get rid of it myself. Definitely check if all the positions are right. That is accurate, but I believe it's just I would just say it's like it depends on my pivot point for my objects. Maybe my player pivot point is not fine. So let's see. My model is at 1 in Y. So this one's already like a bit odd. There we go. Okay, so how could we go and change this thing? We do have vertex. Like, I know this one is full of vertex because it's one of the Unity planes, so if you have a look, this is full of vertex everywhere. I'd love if we could actually change them a bit and do some vertex displacement like we mentioned. But if you have a look at the PVR shader, this one only takes in like different values, like the albedo. We can change a normal for different lighting. That will be something, I guess. You can put a checkerboard on that again. output that directly in the normal. I would give it different values. Let's see, so what's the size of my... It's on 1, okay. I'll save that. My lighting isn't the best though, for that that scene. Where's my light? Light. Sun 1 and Sun 2, so there's 2 sun. Okay. Not that I'm a fan of that. Michael is serious, yes. I get the serious face on, and the serious hat. To hide my new haircut. Okay, not a fan of emission either. So, like, there's no input anywhere around here to do what we wanted to do. There's no input anywhere for vertex displacement. I'm wondering if we can create some kind of PBR master node like that, but for what we're trying to do, right? For vertex. So under master, don't have much. We only have these two. Hey, what's a swizzle? What's a swizzle, boys? Kind of curious now. The only thing we can really mess around with this is will be the albedo, the emission, like albedo, emission, normal. I don't think we're gonna use them that much, and the alpha is really where you have to get creative, right? The alpha is the only real place where we could do something amazing with that. So let's start by maybe doing something with the alpha. We could fade out of this, give ourselves some room. No, that's not gonna work. We're actually not gonna be using the alpha because we're gonna be fading out to another texture, that blue texture. Let's see. What's up? Your camera, yeah. Somewhere around here. Actually, it's not there. I think it's in the thing there. On top. What? Okay. Let's see. Can we give it some noise? I just want to see what this does. Is Shadergraph a shader forge for free? Yes, it is. That's actually exactly what it is. Okay, so over here we have only black and white values for the rounded rectangle. What if we multiply that by noise? So multiply, put the noise back in here. Simple noise, yes. Okay, so it gives this weird color. If we make it bigger, it kind of removed our whole blue. Like, we had blue before. Where's our blue now? Oh, so we are replacing black, however the replace is not really working anymore. We have a different range, like so. You did some vertex displacement with Shader Forge? I think we are going to be able to do it as well, but not anytime soon. Well, yeah, soon, but not today, is what I meant. Okay, we're getting some noise in there, okay. Not really what I wanted to do. What I want to do is really just replace outside of that, but I don't have the logical approach to it. Like, I'm trying to change just the edges of the rounded rectangle. I would love to be able to see it in 2D space. I don't know why like it's giving me the circle like that. I wish it could be something else. Don't want to disconnect. Nope, nope, nope. Don't want to open documentation either. Let me just play around with that rounded rectangle on its own. So I'll take that. Hook it in the same way it was before. And I'll actually start playing with the rounded rectangle, but by itself down here. See if we can achieve something great with this. Maybe height of 1, radius could also be 1. Okay, for some odd reason, my round rectangle is actually... Oh, there it is. It was a circle because my radius was too big. I'm the only one that's stupid in here. Okay, let's save this and start playing around with that. So what I had prior was this. I'm gonna put some other values. Much smaller for the time being, which is fine. Let's see, 0.75, 75, we have that. And I want to start cropping my black over here and turning that maybe in some kind of alpha. Clendy says, I have seen that you use mono singleton. I just found the script, but I can't find any example on how to use it. Do you mind showing me a quick demo or a link using it? It's really simple. I don't know if I have it on this project right here, but I'll show you. It's gonna take a second. Yep, I do have it in this script right here. So when you create well, a singleton, something that you want to be accessing from everywhere, just have the mono singleton in your project anywhere. And what we'll have to do is, assuming you're trying to create some kind of I don't know, ad manager, right? You create your script. Let's see, I'm going to open up that new script I just created. And then here, instead of inheriting from mono behavior, you inherit from mono singleton, and then you have to pass in the template. So open up the bracket like this, and you type in the same exact type as your class, so in this case, ad manager. And that's all you have to do. You save this, and if you want to access your ad manager now at any place in your code, all you have to do is go here, or anywhere in the code, right, and say ad manager dot instance, and then you have an access to it. So if I had like a public float my HP for some reason, you could access it here, my HP, like so. So that's it. That's the simple way to use the mono singleton. Am I late? Free hugs, anyone? You're not late, but I do have a meeting at 12 though, so in about 15 minutes. I'm still figuring things out. I want to spend a lot more time on this. Shadergraph. Oops. Let's see, where's my shader at? Here. So I was on the rounded rectangle right now. I'm not quite sure how I'll replace that black, and I'll actually make it well, you know, I have the replace color, right? But that's not gonna do what I really want, though. So sure, I can replace the black with anything, but I like to do it like a gradient instead. Starting from the center. So there has to be some nodes in there to help me out. We could definitely blend some nodes together. You have seen amongst the new features something like a new kind of particle system. Yes, you have well, it's not new, it's just that they added orbital velocity around objects, so you can add particles that have orbital velocity just like a planet. You want a dithering effect. Thank you. I don't know these words. Just have a look at dither. Okay, now that's gonna be hard to execute on. That's funny, you can add a preview just like that. Huh. What's a swizzle? What the hell is this? That looks cool, actually. That looks cool for like dissolving effect. What if I multiply this? Assuming I don't want the UV, I just want to multiply it. Instead of multiplying my rounded rectangle, I would multiply it by that. Let's see. Okay, never mind this. That's some cool type of noise though. I'm gonna find a use to it before Thursday. Let's see. Radial shear. Gaming mode, hello. I love your videos and tutorial, they have helped throughout the game I'm currently making. It's a free roam driving game, I'm glad they helped, man. Good luck on the free roam driving. We got some very cool nodes in here, but I'm not getting the one I want. Well, I don't think I can get it that much because my rounded rectangle doesn't have any alpha fallback on it. So I don't think I can really achieve that effect without creating myself like my own ramp. I would have to go and create a ramp. Is there that in here? Oh, there's no ramp. Oh, that sucks. If we had a ramp, we could create that kind of effect. But we really don't at this moment. Like with the ramp, we could go from white to black and then take the half value and make that our actual zone where we fall back, right? We fall back on some kind of half alpha textures. Else, all we can play with is just procedural stuff, which we have. this time we can go ahead and just play around with different values. I would love to use the time values and then put that somewhere. Maybe for the width of this force. Yeah. Okay, let's give this a try. So for my time value, we have a couple things in here. We have the time, the sin time, cosine time, delta, okay, delta time, huh? And a smooth delta. I'll give it a try. I'll put my sin in here. So that's valid for the width. We can do the height as well. And we have that growing circle now. Well, growing rounded rectangle. I'm gonna go before I put that in there. I'm gonna do an add. Just like I've done in my small video. I'd like to put that here. And we add 1. And then we divide by 2. Put that here, put that there. Good. And then from that point, I guess we could multiply and have bigger width. So actually, why do I don't need to do that. I don't need to divide if I'm going to be multiplying right after. So we're still hitting some negative values, which kind of sucks. I wish I could see those values. Delta time should always be the same, and it should be technically too small. Or maybe I'm just not seeing, yeah, I'm not seeing the proper things because I didn't hit save. Okay, that's it. I'm the one that's stupid. Let's put that back. Save. And here we go. So we could have that always beneath our player. It's growing. There you go, we could do an ellipse instead, so that rounded rectangle is going away. We're gonna have a sphere. Spherize, what? What is this? Okay, that's not gonna work. Plus we have 2 values. We have the UV values here, which definitely is not what I want to be playing around with right there. Okay, let's go and add a shape to it. So where's my shapes at? Procedural, shape. Want to have a circle, so ellipse, that's gonna do it. Feed that in the width, actually. Like so. And then we'll invert the colors, just like we've done. Hey dude, I just started a tutorial for beginners. You are teaching like you are teaching to a spoon. That's correct. I hope you're enjoying being taught like a spoon. Hey Mike, what's up? Just still playing around with this thing. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. I wish I would be a lot better with it. But what's really interesting to me, like what's the big motivator behind that, is really just the vertex displacement, which unfortunately we cannot play around with. I mean, I haven't seen anything with Shadergraph and vertex displacement just yet. So that's a big bummer. Alright, so I'm adding more time to this. Because that's the lowest thing it can go, and if I do it divided by 2. Okay, that's kind of what I want. I want to have something super small beneath the player that doesn't grow too big. So from far away we'd be able to see, hey, the player is right there, you know? Even though it's not really important, because you are the player yourself. I'd still like to see what it gives us in game. So you have a shrinking circle around the player. And it could look cool from a top view when you're playing a game, like an RTS maybe. Now it would be a matter of speeding up the sync time. The sync time is really slow. So I'm adding 0.5 here. What if I do times 30? No, that's not what I wanted to do. What could we do next with these things? Guys, be aware that you can change the texture to anything really. That is correct. I'm using checkerboards because I don't really have any texture in here, but water ripples. Water ripples. Okay. How could we achieve that effect? Water ripples. That would require some kind of texture on top of that we can create. It's gonna take a second, I guess. It's gonna do 256 by 256. Kind of want to do radial. So let's input that circle texture in here, and I'll hard bake in, so texture to the assets. Or is it? It's circle alpha, it's over here. And let's output that in a sample texture. Cool, it's missing the whole alpha part to it. I'm not sure why. Maybe because it's imported wrong. So let's see. Okay, so 2D sprite and UI, that's not, I mean, that's what I want. However, it'd be great if it just, oh, there it is, on default, input texture with alpha transparency, just like the wrong import settings in there. Having that said, now this should be reflected here, hopefully. It doesn't seem to know that it has alpha. Crap, well, we can see it, and the alpha channel is in there, so technically we now have our alpha on top of that. Okay. How do we make this ripple now? It isn't a texture type. Oh, you fix? Yeah. It's finding the proper place where it belongs. Like, it does not belong in the replace color. It might belong somewhere around here. My god, Mike, your work is beautiful. It's actually not beautiful at all. It's just a big mess this morning, but I'm enjoying this big mess, so you know. Alright, so let's see. I don't want to feed the whole RGBA, I'd like to just feed the alpha. That gives a very odd kind of ripple. My UV, I'd like my UV to be... Okay, let's say we skip that part. Kill that one. We're gonna go where our UV is supposed to be. And it's before we invert colors, so... It's around here. So we have our ellipse, okay. Let me collapse that, since we don't have a good preview anyway, so let's just hide this. And maybe multiply the ellipse. So it should be in the center now. So I'm not seeing the circle anywhere. I'm seeing it in the shader graph. But there's obviously something I'm doing wrong here. Inverting the color is not going to change anything, I don't think so. Well, change the whole mask. Let me kill this scene for a second. There we go. So what could it be? Where am I doing this wrong? Something that really sucks is I don't have my I don't have the same breathing effect as I had a second ago. My time still works. I'm still sending in different values, but when I multiply my ellipse, it doesn't seem to work anymore. And why is it always going this way? I don't know why my camera is like it's tilted now. There you go. I'm gonna go in the isometric view. It's not gonna do that anymore. So it might be a little bit too early to multiply. Let's see. So what if I actually use that a bit earlier on? Instead of multiplying here after, I multiply before. With the subtract. So technically, we have my UV here, and we have my alpha channel. Okay, still no breathing effect, and it didn't place itself properly within the world. Maybe a multiply is not what I want. Maybe I just want to output directly inside of that. And then I can feed in the whole channel, maybe? Nope, can't feed in the whole channel. Okay, that's a weird effect. The whole floor is spawning some circles around my player. Okay. Right. It's a step closer. Can you do an upload of the shader in between? What do you mean? Before I screw everything up? Is that what you mean? Oh, before I screw everything up, if you want me to upload this. Yeah, sure. Sure. Which kind of format do you want? I could just upload, I could just upload the shader itself, right? That'll do it. Let me revert that to what we had before. All we had before was this. Kill that. Alright, cool. Save. And that's what I will be sharing with you. You are blowing again. Damn boy, it's really hard not to blow on this mic. Yeah, let me send you that through Discord. I'll put that under general. And I've tagged you. Yeah, the stream is gonna be up on the channel. Not that I could leave it up. Like it's gonna be unlisted, but you can still find it with this link. Or I might just leave it up. Like it doesn't really matter so much anymore. It's not like YouTube is helping us promote things that go on the channel anyway. So screw YouTube. Okay. So I guess that's a good start. It could be a lot better knowing how the clipping works. Now I feel like playing around with transparent could have been a lot cooler. But I also wanted to have the settings where there's always like a texture in the background, whatever the texture is, and then on top of it you can have another texture. So having two texture per item, and it modifies based on the position. I think that was quite cool. If I am to do something real quick, because I got a meeting at noon, if I have to do like something real quick, I'm actually going to change these things, kill that checkerboard, input my own texture, which was it's called diffuse. It was a blue grid. I'll put that in there, multiply it to the 2 in here. Oops, of course I need to have my sampler, I forgot. Alright, feed it in here. So now I'm modifying the red. Am I modifying? Oh, I'm modifying the white. Okay. White to this. So that's my previous texture in the back, the one that we don't see at this moment. Why though? What have I done? Did I just break everything again? Maybe. Okay, so I'm replacing the white with this, and that should be fed into my albedo. That's fine. In terms of alpha clip threshold, let's put that back on opaque. Thank you very much. My preview is actually doing great. I don't know why it's not doing that great in here. So the time is messing around with the ellipse. That's my code for the world position of the player, and that would be the original image. Again, I want to change this one. I'm going to do the same exact thing as I've done, so I'll create the same diffuse. I'll fit it in here through a sample node. Maybe I could even like put that one at the top and split it in two. I'd love to use the twirl effect on the first one. Let's see. Wow, I gotta feed something else in the UV. Okay. So backing up a few steps again. Create a new sample texture, and the one that's going to be on top of the player, I'd like it to have the twirl effect to it. There. I can just feed that in the UV and define how strong it is. Maybe that's wrong. Now feed that back in the original thing. How do I went and how did I do this actually? So here I'm trying to replace... No, that's not it. The black I wanted to replace by that, okay. Oh, and I multiplied with this value here. It's a little bit more like it. Before I send it over there, let's give it some color. So we'll multiply with a color. Going back to red again. It's my go-to. Cool, yeah, we're trying stuff out. It's not extremely cool at the moment, but my brain's getting used to it. I'm starting to understand how to use the UVs properly. I think that's like the biggest bottleneck when we start doing this thing, is really not understanding so much the UVs, in my case. Now my replace color doesn't work at all. I wish it could work. So I'm trying to replace the black to this kind of color. So we're trying to replace the black so it fits with this blue. And also my multiply here doesn't seem to work at all. What if I just feed that to my albedo directly? Is it showing a color now? Okay, it's not even showing a color, so there's something wrong somewhere. Maybe it's with the alpha, maybe it's with... It should not be with the alpha. Yeah, there's really nothing to mess around with the alpha at the moment. So the red color, that's the one I want on top, so I'll leave it like so. Now I'm trying to multiply a texture. Why though? Why does it? Oh, maybe it's just a ranch here. It's really hard to tell. Like, my preview is really not working in this case. That's the most annoying part. Stop the fuzziness, and okay, so we're getting there. However, it really feels like it's just printing a red color on top. I don't know why. And it's really bad too. It's really bright. Disregard all the texture I've done, and also the position of the player. I don't think it's doing anything with that. Is it? Nope, there's nothing beneath the player. What about the fuzziness? We had something earlier with the fuzziness. Yeah, we have a different color, okay. Well, I think I'll have to figure that thing out on my own, guys. Ooh, that's actually where I'll stop working on that today. I haven't figured out what I wanted to figure out. It's kind of a shame, but I have to go back and dig. I think I'll just scrap everything, start it from scratch, and actually go and maybe do some alpha effect instead. But I really like the idea of not having alpha, just replacing it by an old texture. It's something that I can actually use in one of my games that I'm currently making right now, which is why I wanted so bad, but unfortunately we reached a good point with the first iteration. We had it working. But I wanted to do something with the edges. Like just having a plain circle was kind of boring. Having the ripple effect would have been nice. However, not today, as I have to go right now get a meeting at noon on a Saturday, which is not a big deal. I don't mind at all. But yeah, I'll go back to this. Video this week on Thursday is going to be about Shadergraph, but once I have figured out some cool effect, I'll just pack this thing up. I give myself 4 or 5 days to figure out everything I need to figure out. Probably look into some tutorials too, and I'll just pack everything nice and clean for you guys, and we can have a good look at it on Thursday together. So thank you for tuning in. I'll probably see you again on next week, Saturday next week, but I'll see you on Thursday first. And I want to do a video on the mesh builder, but I don't think like it's really useful. I think Bracky's covered it too, so we'll see then. But Shadergraph is coming back, that's for sure. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will catch you very soon. Cheers.